Now, usually the domain of dairy or sheep and beef farmers, for the first time in 87 years, the Ahuwhenua Trophy is awarded for excellence in Māori agribusiness, and it has been won by a horticulture operation. With Te Kaha 15B Hinaora Orchard claiming the top prize, and reported by journalist Colin Williscroft in this week's Farmers Weekly. This year, for the first time, horticulturalists have been included in this competition. Ahuwhenua Trophy Management Committee Chair Kingi Smiler joins us now. Evening, Kingi. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It would have been a wonderful celebration, especially post-COVID, getting all together.
Absolutely. It was fantastic, spectacular evening with 800 people in the hall in Rotorua being hosted by Te Arawa. And it was delayed by the COVID pandemic, but we still managed to hold the finals evening and the final round judging, which was fantastic to finish it off this year. We had actually got to the stage of, we completed the first round and we were about 3 days from travelling to do the final round judging before actually level 4 lockdown occurred. So it was that close, but we had progressed it enough to complete the first round and have all the preparation done for the final round, which we completed in October, and then had the awards dinner last Friday in Rotorua Event Centre. It was an amazing event.
Now, what combination of skills and talent have you been looking for in these awards over so many decades?
Yeah, okay. So the competition was started by Sir Ahuwhenua Ngata and Lord Bledisloe. So these cups are also known as Bledisloe Cups. And for the horticultural competition, there's now 3 of them. And so originally it started with dairy in 1933, was the first awarded. Interesting enough, the first awards was also handled in Rotorua at Tamatakapua Marae, where the Governor-General, Lord Bledisloe at that time, presented the trophy to the winner, John Swinton, who was from Raukorkiri. Interesting enough, Te Kaha, 87 years later, is from the same region for the inaugural horticulture competition. So that was pretty amazing sort of combination of events over a long period of time. And so both Ahuwhenua and Bledisloe were both looking to create a competition to improve the standards of farming for Māori particularly as that now comes through a phase of just now dealing with all the remnants of the country. And so it was important for the lifting of the standard and good practice. And Lord Bledisloe had a cup designed by Goldie, so the cups that are designed by Goldie, and they're all replicas of each other. So we just recently had the horticultural one done. It was done by Village Goldsmiths in Wellington, and then they had silversmiths from London to spin the silver and to do this design. And so they copied it with exacting terminology. So if you've seen the Rugby Bledisloe Cup, these cups are that size and they're magnificent trophies and very well sought after.
Wow, that's fantastic. And let's celebrate the win of Hinaora Orchard. What made them absolutely stand out to take home over traditional dairy and sheep and beef?
Yeah, so the competition is structured slightly differently in the sense that they're competing with dairy and sheep and beef. So what has happened over time, originally it was an all-encompassing competition, so sheep and beef and dairy, and then they were having trouble to separate both dairy and sheep and beef farmers, and so the first cup was put in place in 1933, so the next cup was then put in place in 1954. So we wanted one specifically for horticulture. So this was, again, so for only horticultural growers and farmers are the ones that compete for this particular award, although many of our Māori trusts and corporations have multi-purpose land uses, and so many do dairy, sheep and beef, forestry and horticulture and, fruit and vegetables right across that sector. So this was for the sector of horticulture, and it just so happened that our 3 finalists this year were all doing kiwi fruit.
And of course, it's really just showing how integral the growth of horticulture is for Māori agribusiness into the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So probably Māori horticulture is probably about 10% of the industry at the moment, so it's very significant and growing all the time. And these finalists have been in kiwi fruit and orchards for a very long time, since some of them since the 1970s. So some of them have been through all the cycles over a long period of time. And so the other two finalists were Ngāi Tūkairangi, which is from Matapihi and Tauranga. And so their kiwi fruit holdings are all gold holdings of 100 hectares. So they're a major investor in kiwi fruit. The other finalist was Otama Marere from Te Puke, and their orchard size was about 18 hectares. And then we had Te Kaha, which is actually the smallest of 8 hectares. And it was an amazing story. And so they're sort of isolated area, water. And when they started off 20 years ago, they had to buy back their lease. It was only had a subsistence level at that stage. And they built it into an amazing high returning asset. So all of these, the finalists, all benchmark in the top 10% of kiwi fruit growers in New Zealand. And so their standard is absolutely outstanding. And Te Kaha particularly showed significant innovation against all those challenges to build up an amazing business over time, where they've done joint ventures and they had a huge amount of innovation of working with others, creating a community where they create training programs. And so when they wanted water, they created a water program also for their local marae and for the housing in the area. They bought a holiday camp that was in the area so they could house their workers and also use it as a accommodation for the whānau when they needed it, and also as a holiday camp. So they've had this created their own nursery, and now they're supplying, plants all around the Bay of Plenty region. And so they've done that all from these small beginnings and joint ventures that they've done with other Māori trusts and corporations.
It's incredibly inspiring, as is the inaugural Ahuwhenua Young Māori Grower Award as well. How exciting to see the youth coming through, in particular, more and more into horticulture as well.
Yeah, no, we had 3 amazing finalists. Brandon Cross, who's from Tauranga, Phoenicia Tuhiwai, which is up in Kaitaia, and then Matu Taira Akonga, who was on an apple orchard in the Hawke's Bay. And so they were 3, really talented people. And the winner that took out the Young Grower Award was Matu Taira Akonga. And, they're showing great talent and opportunity for our young rangatahi, and doing an amazing job.
Kingi, before you go, the future of Māori agribusiness is looking very bright. But what are one of those major challenges that you'd like to see being overcome to allow for Māori agribusiness to grow further and flourish?
Oh, look, I think it's more about the Ahuwhenua competition. Just the leaders and the exemplars that come from the competition are showing both Māori and the whole economy about, I think, the role of kaitiakitanga, which is a big part of the judging, and so building great stewardship and sustainability, because we're farming for the next generation. So these land holdings are being passed on from one generation to the next, and so meeting those challenges and leaving it in a better place for the next generation is the fundamental driver behind this agribusiness. So if you look going forward about the climate change and the freshwater challenges that we have at the moment, and I noticed one of your last speakers was talking about freshwater farm environment plans, and so those challenges of meeting, the new regulations around Te Mana o Te Wai, and building that sustainability and adapting and being resilient to those changes. I think Māori growers and farmers are well placed to help lead the industry, to meet those challenges and build a greater success into the future.
Thank you so much for your time, Kingi Smiler, there on the committee of the Ahuwhenua Māori Trophy that was awarded for the first time in 87 years to a horticulture operation. And congratulations to all of the finalists and winners. It's an absolute treasure, that awards. And I love following it every year when they come out.
This is Sarah's Country.